And we will take a short recess to assess where we are in the testimony.
The chair.
Yes.
May I suggest that those of you that have testified before us 2-3 times, that you allow the people that haven't testified at all to come before the board?
Okay with me. So, beginning the beneficiary comments, I would like to ask that we really do have a 5-minute time limit, but if you can keep it under, that's up to you. We would really appreciate it. I would like to come to a vote today. That's the goal today. And I just want to make sure that if you guys can limit it to even 3 minutes, thank you so much. What Trustee Hulu Lindsay said, if you have spoken to allow others to speak, I think that's the best way to move right now. So starting off, first, beneficiary comments and community concerns. We're going to have Williamson, Chang, followed by Bo Kahui.
I'll say PC.
Hi. Aloha to the trustees. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. I listened to the comments of the staff, and I respect the staff a lot. I heard opinion polls, I heard about money, I heard about weighing things against each other. To me, it's not about that. This is a matter of heart, and it's a matter of love. It's not about science versus superstition. It's a matter about, would you, if this were your child, would you do anything to protect them or save them? That's what's going on the mountain. It's love. It's not about worship or sacred. Well, sacred, yes, because a child is sacred. That is a child. That island is a child. We don't compromise. I was on Hawaii Public Radio this morning. The last question was asked of me was, do you think there's compromise? And my answer was no, there's no compromise. There can be no compromise. Could you compromise on the issue of the overthrow? Could you compromise on the issue of the annexation? Can we compromise the questions of the abdication of our queen? No. They took our queen and they took our mountain. So I don't have very much time, so I do want to just get to the one issue that was not brought up by the staff, and that's power, jurisdiction, and sovereignty. And what I have in front of me is the Hawaii Revised Statutes. It's taken from your collection right there. And I want to make a point that if you do not have my testimony, I'm sorry, I'm going to circulate it.
We have it.
Oh, you have it. At the end of it.
Palo, BC, not Palo.
Okay, enough pala.
No, it was distributed.
Distributed. At the end, there's a link, and the link is to a 60-page appendix on sovereignty. But I want to read to you the definition of what's in the state of Hawaii. And that is Article 15. And you can look it up. It's laws of the state of Hawaii that you have to follow as a state agency. It was a law of the United States when we became a state. It says the state of Hawaii, and I won't go into everything, but it doesn't mention the Big Island. It doesn't mention Oahu. It doesn't mention Maui. It mentions islands that are not in the state of Hawaii. What it does say is, look to what was in the territory of Hawaii under the Organic Act. And when we turn to the Organic Act, we find that the only islands the United States claims by the Organic Act are the islands that were acquired by the joint resolution. So by the laws of the United States, by the laws of the state of Hawaii, is the Big Island an island that was acquired by the joint resolution? Could the joint resolution acquire anything? It was merely an act of Congress. It wasn't a treaty. Can an act of Congress acquire a sovereign, independent state? No. For all these years, we have been deceived. We've been led to believe that we are part and territory of the United States. It's something that they have kept us in the dark. And so now we have the light. You have new information. Maybe in 2009, this was not known to you when you voted. But the power over Mauna Kea is being exercised by who? Someone other than us, when we're sovereign. It's being exercised by the Board of Land and Natural Resources, and they're doing this environmental impact statement and issuing permits. Would our kingdom, would our queen have issued a permit to build this monstrosity on Mauna Kea? No, the question is of jurisdiction, and it's going to be made sooner or later. I know it's a tough question because you are a state agency. Are you going to cut your own legs out from under you? Well, I say this. I say be the first one to tell the truth. Be the first ones. And it should be Hawaiians who say, wait a minute, that does affect us, but on what issue are you going to take a stand? Is there any more important issue than Mauna Kea than to take a stand? This is the one. It's around the world. The world is looking. They want to know two things. What do you think about Mauna Kea? And how did you ever become part of the United States? We go there, we don't understand why. What do you say? Joint resolution? How did that happen? They are dumbfounded. Who should be telling them the truth? You. You're Hawaiians. Yes, you do work for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. That was set up by them to placate us. But you're Hawaiians first. And it's time that we make this legal point known. It's going to be made in the defense of the protectors who have been arrested on what is called state and university land. Their defense is going to be, you prove to me that the Big Island of Mauna Kea is within the state of Hawaii. Now, they may get around it. They may pull some fast ones. But in doing that, they will embarrass themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chang. Professor Chang, do you have any more comments to say?
The next speaker, Boka Hui.
Yeah. So we're going to be moving on to our next speaker. Thank you, Professor Chang, for that. Boka Hui, followed by Dan Purcell. Dan Purcell, you're up next.
Okay, all right, thank you. Trustees, Chairman Ahuna and trustees, thank you for having me. I'm here on another matter. Over the week, I've been here at the joint BAE and the ARM committee meeting, as well as the ARM committee meeting held yesterday regarding our grants division. As you are aware, Laiupua was denied access to funding sources from this body. I wanted to be placed on the record that the beneficiaries organization be given preference to these fund sources, again, to revisit your mandate and your fiduciary duty to beneficiary organizations that work directly with Native Hawaiians. In addition, the new application process by which you are now under the internet should also include ways in which we identify those beneficiary organization. For example, Laiupua 2020 is a 501c3. I sit as their executive director. We have more than 50% majority board members that are Native Hawaiians, and we serve the Native Hawaiian villages of Laiupua in Kona. So there is a real strong nexus, and we need to see that so that we be given preference to these fund sources so that we can help our community. And I'm glad we have this audience today because it's your money, and we got to start looking at how those resources can better benefit our community. Once you figure that out, the board needs to also make sure that there is the direct nexus between those beneficiary organizations to the beneficiaries. Like you're supposed to, under your mandate, provide that fiduciary responsibility to our community. And with that said, also give us those small communities, small organizations that have a hard time writing grants, that have a hard time building their capacity to be given a chance to grieve in this process if they're not been given that opportunity and be given technical resources so that they'll be able to address their grant-making process so that they can have the proper funds to go ahead and support their community. With that said, I encourage this board to review the grants process. I support Trustee Akana's position to review this process, to implement new policies that will affect our community, our homesteaders, our beneficiaries. Now I'm going to take off my executive director hat, and I'm going to speak from my ohana. And so, Boka Hui used to be an activist a long time ago, and still is. My son, Kekoa, he's out there. He reminded me of my duty to stand today and say, E Hawaii au. I am Hawaii. You know, I am Mauna Kea. I will, and the challenge for us is your decision-making today, how that plays into our broader community and the effect that it'll have and the repercussions it will have with respect to our members and our beneficiaries. I see some of our old warriors here, Walter Ritte, Terry Keokalani, people that we used to go around Koholavi and do that. This is another Koholavi for me. And as we try to seek that resolution about how we manage our resources, what your fiduciary duty under that mandate, and how we protect our beneficiaries under this mandate is important. I am E Hawaii au, I am Mauna Kea, and my son is out there. Thank you.
So I'm just in fairness, and I respect what Bo had shared, but I do want the board to know, or maybe Bo can share, as a result of his testimony over the past couple of our meetings, we did follow up and refer you to Hi'ile. Can you share with the board the status of where we are at now in terms of assisting your organization?
That is correct. The administration, soon after realizing that we were denied access to these funds, came to me. We were trying to look for ways to help with building our capacity. So we have received some support from Hi'ile Aloha, which is a nonprofit arm of this board, to serve capacity building in our organization. While it's not what we really wanted,
we need to pressure the Board of Land and Natural Resources and the new chairwoman Case to install video conferencing technology and make videos of those meetings and post them on the web for people to download on demand when they want. They, in 2011, the board voted to pursue video conferencing. They approved money, I think over $100,000 to do it. They've installed the technology. They won't turn it on. Much mahalo for your time today.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for staying under the 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Sheri. Moving right along, Rupert Rowe would be next. Sheri.
Hi, Sheri. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Sheri McNamara, President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. Thank you so much for allowing the opportunity to provide comments on this important issue. The Chamber is the largest business advocacy organization in the state. It represents about 1,000 employers, representing 200,000 employees. Employees. And TMT is committed to fill these positions with as many Hawaii residents as possible. And we believe it's not only the economic factor, but also the educational and scientific benefits that TMT would allow. And once again, we certainly appreciate the position. we heard today, but we're here to state our support on this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheri. Up next, moving right along, Rupert Rowe, followed by Milani Neil.
Mahalo inahoa. We just need to ask for respect for all who come up here and share and comment. Yeah.
All you beneficiaries who come up, please state your name, and if you'd like to tell where you come from, we'd appreciate that. The trustees would appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for staying under the 5 minutes.
Aloha. Peha oi.
McKay.
I got two things I like to touch on. One is about our blood quantum, and one about is the telescope. I'm the po'o of Kaniolo Umaheyao. What has taken place on Kauai, we do not support any more opala on the mountain. Reason we cannot support what is taking place, it is not about money, it is about the doorway to our past and our future. Many of you never had the opportunity to be on the mountain, to see the rising of the sun. It is a red flash as you look east. When you look west, it is a green flash. It is the door that many of you are learning and respecting, the gateway to who we are. Secondly, the word blood quantum. It deprives the social fabric of everyone in this room, because we all don't know who we are, as the state dictates the motion on what you can do and what you cannot do. So now, the reason why the blood quantum should be dissolved, and it should be the focus of our trustees to eliminate a barrier that is crumbling right now in front of all of you. The door to freedom is very close. Let us open our hearts and our minds and know that whatever is taking place is not about the money. It's about who you are as a Kanaka Maoli. That's all I get to say, and I reach out to all of you. Know who you are. Ask your trustees to say that you are a Kanaka Maoli and not a native Hawaiian, so that the social fabric of yourself is heard throughout this state. We live in a kingdom that has been depriving our people the opportunity to be free. So, let us not put any more opala on the mountain. Let us look at our future and open the gateway by taking away this barrier of the blood quantum, and it should be OHA's position to stand forth and do that for the people of Hawaii. Aloha to all of you.
Mahalo.
Mākou I nele I ka home ole. No ka mea, a ole mākou I nele I ke aloha ole.
I vaina o ke kahi poe, ke no'ono'o ia nei o ke aloha, o ia ko Hawaii loea haku a ha'i poema o ke ia wā.
We've been pretty fortunate to have great winds on this particular voyage, and we're averaging about...
Board of Trustees and everyone here today, thank you for being here.
Aloha.
My name is Milani Neil. I am Hawaiian. I am an 18-year-old, and I'm currently a senior in high school. I'd like to first say that my testimony is focused on the telescope because it's something I've grown to be really passionate about within the few weeks that I've been involved. I was born and I currently live in Kailua, Kona. My ambition is to pursue a career in physics and astronomy. After receiving my college education, it is my dearest hope to be able to return home to Hawaii Island and work in the astronomy community. This is my testimony in favor of the 30-meter telescope project. My family and I have chosen to be here today. We've traveled at our own expense, and I'm missing school because this is a cause that I so strongly believe in. I'm here to represent myself and also to voice my support so that Big Island students now and in the generations to come will have the chance to excel in science, math, and technology through many opportunities that TMT will offer. I have followed the progress of TMT for several years in hopes that they would receive the necessary permits and approvals to move forward. When I had heard that they followed all legal protocol to receive their permits, it made me happy beyond belief and hopeful that the future will be brighter. Recently, there has been a sudden flood of opposition to the telescope. Very suddenly, the media felt a huge tide of negativity and protesting to the telescope, which affected me very personally.
Alia, we ask for respect, okay?
And caused me to feel a great amount of distress. As a Hawaiian in support of this project, I felt the need to make my opinion known, and so I created an online petition in hopes that my voice will be heard and as an outlet for many others who support, thank you. And as an outlet for many others who support the project to rally together. In about 2 weeks, the petition has gained over 6,000 signatures, and I honestly would have never imagined to receive so much support and encouragement. I haven't done an exact tally, but I would say that a great majority of the signers are from Hawaii, and a large portion of those are from the Big Island. And it's been such a blessing to see some of the people that I know sign. Many of the signers have indicated that they are Hawaiian and they do support the telescope and all the benefits it will bring to the local communities and to the knowledge about our universe that may be gained. Many signers from the astronomy communities from here and around the world have voiced their support and also their love and respect for Mauna Kea. I believe there's a very strong base of support for TMT that has been overshadowed by the negativity amplified in the media. I strongly believe that Hawaii is the most ideal place in the world for this telescope. The latitude of Hawaii in the northern hemisphere is very advantageous, and the conditions on Mauna Kea provide for pristine conditions that are incomparable to any other place in the world. I also advocate for TMT's location here based on the important role of astronomy in Hawaiian culture. The stars brought our Hawaiian ancestors to Hawaii, and now we have the opportunity to bring the people of Hawaii to the stars. I am also supportive of astronomy on Mauna Kea because in my experience, with all the astronomers that I've had the opportunity to meet and know, I have found that the observatories are very eco-minded and the astronomers truly care about the environment. If more of the community was aware of this, I think it would positively influence our own lifestyles and encourage others to be more green. I also believe that it would raise awareness throughout the world of the Hawaiian culture and also the aloha that Hawaiians have for the world that we belong to. I think it could be rightly said that the Hawaiian community and the astronomy community have little understanding of each other, and this isn't going to change overnight. It is going to take time and effort from both sides. Many of the astronomers who currently work on Mauna Kea come from all over the world and probably know little about Hawaiian culture. On the other hand, many of the protesters of the TMT project probably know little about astronomy and the far-reaching capabilities the observatories provide. I'd like to think it's possible that over time, these two groups who both revere Mauna Kea could learn to share it, at least for a period of time, for the good of all mankind. Sorry. With the help of the TMT Think Fund, I think it's possible that in some time, the astronomers working on Mauna Kea and the Hawaiians who love it so dearly will be able to live in harmony. I'd also just like to say that TMT has provided a beacon for me and has motivated me to do my best in all that I do. And I know this is not the only consideration, but please, I urge you to show imagination, determination, and courage, and continue to support the TMT project on behalf of many young Hawaiian science students who could benefit from this.
Milani, thank you so much. Mahalo. So moving right along to C. Kawi Amsterdam, followed by...
I want to thank Milani for your courage and taking the time to come here and participate. There's always two sides to the issues.
Right.
This young woman has stepped up, and hila to those that was in the back there trying to who were the...
Okay, next up we have C. Kawi Amsterdam, followed by Roy Gal. Let's move this meeting.
Well, same to you. You don't belong in the room. Get out. Be respectful.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Create a safe environment.
Let's have some respect, and if we don't have, then, you know, we don't, this is a Hawaiian entity.
Rowena,
hang
let's
on.
just listen to the next beneficiary comment.
Hang
so
on.
we don't go back
Mr. Chairman, we should have some order. And if people can't be respectful of each other, then we're going to have to do what we don't want to do, and that is to call security, and we don't want to do that. So let's just be respectful, and let's hear everyone out.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you, everyone. With all due respect, let's listen to this next man.
Aloha. Everybody turn to your neighbor and say aloha. 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 Members, trustees, members of the board, chairman, Kawi, and sister, what's your name? Back there. Thank you for helping. And my brothers and sisters, aloha again. I'm Kawi Yochanan Amsterdam. Kawi's my Hawaiian name. Yochanan is my Hebrew name. I'm the former acting Prime Minister of the interim government of the Kingdom of Hawaii. First, along with other Hawaiian Kingdom restorationists, my aim has been to recognize, restore, and advance the Kingdom of Hawaii. This could be called the Kingdom of Hawaii, Mauna Kea, and the telescope. Accordingly, an important task in fulfilling this aim has been to get the nations of the world to also help in this aim. Accordingly, the current issue involving Mauna Kea and the telescope can and should be viewed in the context of this aim, the recognition, restoration, and advancement of the Kingdom of Hawaii. This is very important, and this is held by all of our Kanaka Maoli, this great aim. Knowing and not disregarding Mauna Kea as being sacred and cultural, a treasure to our Kanaka Maoli, to disregard the relevance of this particular and the importance of the context of our aim can be an oversight, a missed opportunity, a benefit, or a missed benefit, a missed blessing, whatever you want to call it. It's like stepping over millions, such as the 1.8 million acres of our crown lands for 100. Opportunity calls. Abba Eben, the ambassador to the Israel, once made a statement that, and I don't know if this is true or false, he said that Palestinians never miss the opportunity to miss an opportunity. So we don't want to miss an opportunity. This is a great opportunity. The world is looking at this great opportunity. Second, the 5 governments of India, China, Canada, Japan, and the United States, they desire and are interested in Mauna Kea to build the world's largest telescope, to look into the utmost bounds or reach of the infinite universe, so that we can better understand the truth of the present, the past, present, and the future, and also to be triumphant in current competition with European countries who are also doing this. This is their aim. Thirdly, our native Hawaiian or Kanaka Maoli have a desire, aim, and a need and an interest in Mauna Kea to preserve it and preserve its sacredness. It's part of our culture, our history, our Hawaiiana, our homeland inheritance, and ultimately to reach and achieve our great aim to recognize, restore, and advance our Kingdom of Hawaii / our governing entity, which should probably also actually or ultimately have a say. I didn't recognize Leilani Hia'a Klailoa, Kaluhio Kalani Kalakaua Ehu, my dear mother. You know her as Mama Loa. I would like to acknowledge her this day. Therefore, understanding the aims, interests, and needs previously clarified by the 5 governments of the world who have international influence, and a Hawaii-born U.S. President Obama supporting supporting influence, and our Kanaka Maoli, a win-win solution is proposed. I propose that if and when the 5 governments commit and sincerely help and support the actual recognition, they commit themselves and actually recognize and help to restore and advance the Kingdom of Hawaii, the governing entity, then they can build the telescope. If they don't, no deal. While meeting these government aims, etc., to build the most advanced telescope, which possibly could make outdated these other telescopes, which could be dismantled, we must also remember that if we don't meet their particular needs and aims, in the future and presently, they can turn their interests to our important aim of the restoration of the Kingdom of Hawaii, advancing our kingdom. What goes around comes around. And inasmuch as this particular solution has come with great thought and prayer, I acknowledge Keakua, who's helped us. In looking at the wonderful research that is done, it appears that what we need as Kanaka Maoli is to have greater enforcement in the things that we are supposed to preside over. We can have shorter leases. We can realize that the benefit, what is the benefit of actually allowing them to build the telescope? Our Hawaiian Kingdom. The world knows, as we had mentioned, this is national and international. So they know the issue. But the issue, there's a greater issue. The greater issue has already been passed by the legislature, a governing entity of the Kingdom of Hawaii, the Kingdom of Hawaii. May we do this, and so our support would be conditional. We would have conditional support on this. And may the good Lord help us, and we be able to have a definite answer, because that's what, according to the survey, our beneficiaries want. Mahalo, aloha, and again, acknowledgement to our wonderful Keakua. Mahalo and aloha.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Mr. Amsterdam. Next up, Roy Gal, followed by Bumpy Kanahele.
Aloha, trustees.
Aloha.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to try to keep this short since I was here 2 weeks ago, but I have 2 different points I'd like to make that I didn't make then. One is kind of technical in nature. During the presentation by staff this morning, we heard the TMT referred to as massive. We know its mirror is 3.5 times the diameter of, for instance, the Subaru telescope's mirror, as 10 times the collecting area. And so I believe many in the public, and even I, thought that this would be a gigantic building compared to what is already on the summit. Here is a rendering of the size of the telescope compared to the existing Subaru telescope. It is only 30% taller and is sited hundreds of feet lower on the mountain. It is actually designed to minimize its size in a way that's actually a remarkable feat of engineering. And I have copies of all these renderings that you can all pass around. I'm sorry I didn't have time to give you them before. So it is not a monstrosity compared to anything that is already there. In the image that was shown in staff's presentation, which actually comes from the TMT website, the perspective is of someone who is close to the TMT and looking up at the rest of the telescopes. So the TMT looms larger in the foreground compared to the others, much as the person close to me appears bigger than the person far away from me. In a rendering that shows the perspective properly, as if you were flying in a helicopter, it looks just like the other telescopes. And I understand that for those who want no telescopes on this summit, that doesn't matter. But for those who think this is going to be a different thing than what is already there, It's not. It's really remarkably in scale with everything that is already there. So I just wanted to make that point that many of the discussions have characterized it in a misleading way. So I wish I actually had these renderings earlier. They were developed by the 30-meter telescopes, Japanese partners. So I hadn't seen them until just yesterday. The other thing I wanted to another thing related to technical issues is decommissioning of telescopes. And people have said that there's no plans for decommissioning. When is it going to happen? In 2009, approximately when you took your vote, but just coincidentally, Caltech already announced that it would be decommissioning the Caltech Similar Observatory starting next year. So that has already been in the plans well before and completely independent of the 30-meter telescope. So we understand that observatories can become obsolete. We have no desire to spend money on obsolete things, and they are going to be decommissioned according to the management plan with the site restored. So those will start in the near future. So for those who have thought that that has never been discussed or never announced, it was announced 6 years ago for the first telescope to come off the mountain. I'd also like to share something personal. My job at the Institute for Astronomy is to coordinate our outreach programs. I came to the Institute as a research astronomer, and today I do almost no research, and all I do is work with the community. We do 200 events a year with 20,000 interactions with individuals. This weekend is Astro Day in Hilo, where the Prince Kuhio Plaza will be filled with astronomers. Earlier this month, we had the Institute for Astronomy open house in Manoa, and 1,500 of our people came and enjoyed it and asked great astronomy questions. We had the Polynesian Voyaging Society there, and people learned about astronomy and of looking up to the stars. I believe that that is something that connects all of us. My son is 21 months old. He was born here. When he was 1 year old, he looked up at the sky and pointed at the moon and said, "Moon." Today he can look up and say Venus and Jupiter. He's not even 2 years old, and he wonders at those points in the sky. Your ancestors, my ancestors, we all did that and looked up. And I think that is a common bond that we all have. When I organized the Venus transit viewing on Waikiki Beach, 12,000 people came and showed up to look at that rare event that King Kalakaua also had astronomers come here for 138 years prior. And I hope that just as the land can bind us all, the amazing knowledge and the amazing night sky can also bind us all together. Thank you.
Roy, we have a question. Trustee,
I have a question because I remember your testimony 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And you did mention then that none of the 13 telescopes were obsolete and that there was no plans to decommission any of them.
No, I did not say that. I said none of them were abandoned, which was the word that was used by the chairperson at the time. They are utilized up to the day they're going to be turned off. So a plan, it was realized that the Caltech Similar Observatory would be superseded by other facilities by this time. And now that that has happened, it will be turned off and taken off the mountain.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next is Bumpy Kanahele, followed by Gunther Hassinger. So sorry if I'm. You're after Bumpy. Thank you.
Man, all kind of emotions running in here. Hi, aloha, trustees.
Aloha.
We gotta stop the TMT, period. There's no compromise for that. Our national sovereignty is on the line. The identity of us as Hawaiians or Kanaka and our national lands, and that's our national lands. So everybody covered all the areas regarding why the do's and don'ts. I give that young lady credit for sitting down over here. I was feeling all that too. But you know, our sovereignty is at stake, our national sovereignty. I think the board, if you do things in a different way now, you have all the excuse to make it right. You know, like I think Colette had mentioned that 4 trustees weren't even in the vote that time. And that's real good for us. But we had so much problems with this office and the past and all that kind of stuff. It's the first time I see from outside looking in as a frontline expert too, going to jail and doing the things that these boys and these women up there doing. Given a chance for doing right. Like read something, just something small. This came from a report back in 1959, was the General Assembly meeting, 4th Committee. And this was Mr. Espinoza Y. Prieto from Mexico. It was in regards to when we became a state, just before we became. And he says, he emphasized that the association of any territory with a state or group of states was internationally a very delicate matter, since it meant an enlargement of the state concerned, us, Hawaii. It was therefore necessary to establish in the most formal way, not only that such a step was taken on the basis of absolute equality, which was bullshit, but also and principally that it corresponded to the freely expressed wishes of the peoples concerned, Kanaka Maoli, in whom the national sovereignty resided. So this document was the reports coming in from different countries just before Hawaii became a state. I mean, they even went as far as to say, well, they had never existed in either of the two territories, so far as was known, any movement for independence or for any other status. So with all this stuff that we have, that means statehood was totally an intrusion. We never had the choices, the culture of the people is concerned. That was the other overture that kind of like made the state the way it is today, and how we running into problems. We get too much interlocking relationships with these businesses that came here. Don't forget, the big five is the guys. They're still here. They're still here, and they in everybody's pockets. And however it got there because of the evolution of what we're going through. That's where the real problem. And I hope the board just stop, relook at a lot of things. We get a lot of ho'oponopono for go on with each other and with you folks, with our offices. I want to be part of that. I always wanted to be part of helping our people. I'm going to stand by these brothers that stay up in that mountain all the way. If we got to go up there, we're going up there too and hang with them. But we need to support that. We need to not forget that they're on the line, and that is happening constantly. It's a lonely thing over there. It's a lonely thing when you stay on the front line and you get guys ready for, you don't know what they're going to do, right? They're already getting action here and there. But it is making our community go crazy amongst each other. Pretty much family is like tied into something that may be, our education programs, Hawaiian language getting funded by these guys. How do we break all that up, right? We gotta form a country. I'm not talking about any other process going on, but we need to form a provisional government for protect these things. You folks need to stand behind us, stand behind the people doing that. That's all. And I'm going to help all the way. We committed. We're doing what we can do out there. But I'm really proud of you folks, all these young bloods up there doing what they're doing, because it's bringing us together whether we like it or not. Out of the classroom, out of the, everybody is forced to come. I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to leave this stuff over here with Kamana and just get extra copies for you folks. And remember, with all this said, that everybody can be held liable for the crime of genocide. The mental destruction, the destruction, the physical destruction. We can go to the UN and win on this. But I think we just need to somehow bring all this together and just move forward. Trustees, thank you for your time, and everybody here. Our national sovereignty, that's the one on the ground. We gotta bring that back together and form. Aloha.
Bumpy, you have a question?
I'm a new trustee. I'm the newest trustee. I was just elected this year. I understand about your provisional government. You want to have sovereignty. I ran on the platform of repealing 195. Okay, I know you tried to do that, but to me, spending beneficiary money, 5 million plus, when the Constitution says OHA was created to right the wrongs.
I'm talking about Act 195, okay? All I'm saying is we need to form. You guys can do them without Act 195.
No, yeah, I want to repeal that. It's a state law.
Oh, yeah, but that's your kuleana.
I wanted to just say that I'm here to protect the money, the beneficiary trust fund. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, for you guys, right? To spend any way just for the sake of nation.
Aliyah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Trustee
thanks.
Luisa. Thank you.
No, I wanted
Uncle
to
Bumpy,
just
thank you,
explain.
mahalo.
I talk to you later.
Yeah, next up,
With you.
next up we have Gunther Hassinger, followed by Ken Chambers.
Actually, I think I'm up. Oh, you're not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's not, so sorry.
Honorable trustees, since I have already given twice testimony here, I would, in the interest of time, like to give you my testimony in a written form.
Okay, thank you.
But I would like to ask you if it is possible to bring up the first astronomer who was on the mountain, Anne Bosgard, because I think she has to give some very important information that has not been discussed before. Are we allowed?
I don't have a name of this
Anne
person.
Bosgard.
Are you Gunther?
Yes.
Gunther? Let me take 5 minutes real quick.
To 8 nautical miles an hour.
Aole mako.
Okay, if she signed up.
This person is next.
He's giving up his time for her.
Yes.
Wait. So what is her name?
Aliyah.
We're just making sure that she signed up.
Correct. Pololi.
Bosgard?
Yes.
Okay, Ann Bosgard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aliyah ina hoa mal, mikele ku ono, iki ya olua, mahalo.
Good morning, aloha. I'm Ann Merchant Bosgard. I received a PhD in astronomy in middle 1960s, and shortly thereafter came to the University of Hawaii. Now, women don't usually like to reveal their age, but I was on the mountain, on Mauna Kea, before there were any telescopes there. And I have to tell you, it's a very impressive and awesome place. I have probably, I'm one of the few here who's been to visit Mauna Kea without telescopes. I'm also probably the one in this room who has spent more nights on Mauna Kea trying to study the stars than anyone here. NASA wanted to put one of their intermediate-sized telescopes on Mauna Kea. And the question was, who was going to run it? Harvard wanted to be the group that ran this telescope. The University of Arizona wanted to be. And the University of Hawaii at that time had almost no astronomy. But we made a proposal to be the ones to erect the 88-inch telescope on the top of Mauna Kea. At that time, we had many public hearings. There were no objections to the telescope itself from anyone. But there were objections to the idea that we were going to put a mid-level facility at Halepohaku at 9,200 feet. We knew we should not be able to sleep on the top because 14,000 feet makes it difficult to sleep. We wanted to have a mid-level facility at 9,200 feet. The objection to this came from one member of the Audubon Society who was worried about the endangered species of the pelila bird. The other objection was from the hunters who wanted to hunt wild pigs up there. And for some reason, this little niche on Mauna Kea they thought would just make it impossible for them to do that. Now, when we went to do some site surveys on the summit, we looked at two sites. One where the 88-inch telescope now is, the other one where the TMT is scheduled to go. We had chosen, we said, no, we are not going to put a telescope on the summit of Mauna Kea. That is still pristine. It's the highest point in the Pacific Ocean. We also were not going to put a telescope on Cone Goodridge, which is such a beautiful cone there. In addition, we had the road surveyor come up and tell us where he thought the road should go, and he wanted the road to go directly by Lake Waiahu. And we said, no, absolutely no. That's one of the highest lakes in the United States, and it's one of the few lakes in Hawaii. So we said, no, we won't put the road there. And we didn't have the road go near the estuary or the important glacial moraine up there. NASA did erect a smaller telescope first. It was a part of one of many telescopes around the world to take pictures of our planets in our solar system. And they found that it was an absolutely superb place to do astronomy. It was the best images of all the telescopes. And we all concluded that it's the best window to the rest of the universe. I want to say one more thing that connects us so deeply to the stars, all of us. Our Milky Way galaxy is about 13 billion years old. Our sun and its planets are about 5 billion years old. So a lot happened in the universe before our planetary system was formed. It turns out that massive stars formed, and then they exploded, and they put new stuff that they had formed by nuclear energy, nuclear reactions, into the environment. And when the time our sun and planets were born, we had in our system all these extra elements. For example, the calcium that's in our bones, those atoms were forged inside stars. Same thing with the iron in our blood. They were forged inside stars. So this is the ultimate connection between us and the rest of the universe. So all these telescopes on Mauna Kea have advanced our human knowledge in extraordinarily significant ways, and the TMT will advance that knowledge in ways that will astound us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, next up we have Ken Chambers, followed by Rebecca Kakalia.
Aloha. Thank you. I came here to listen as well as speak. My name is Ken Chambers. I'm an astronomer at the Institute for Astronomy at UH. I'm also director of the Pan-STARRS Observatories on Haleakala. I've lived in Hawaii for more than 25 years. I raised my family here. I spent many hundreds of nights on Mauna Kea, many hundreds of nights on Haleakala. I know these mountains. I love these mountains. I want them to be protected. My first trip up Mauna Kea was before I lived in Hawaii. in the winter of 1986. I'll never forget it. 6 feet of snow with drifts up to 10 feet of snow. On Mauna Kea, you had to drive through a channel cut in the snow. Snow towered up above the roof of the vehicle. Those of you who were up there this winter know that there was not 6 feet of snow up there. There was not 6 feet of snow up there last year, or the year before that, or the year before that. And the reason is global warming. And Hawaii is a sensitive environment. It's going to feel the impacts of that first. Global warming wasn't discovered on Earth. It was discovered on Venus by astronomers who realized that CO2, carbon dioxide, trapped the heat from the sun. The study of planetary atmospheres has taught us something important about the Earth. Looking at another planet has helped us to see something that we could not see happening before our own eyes on Earth. It's likely to be more complicated than that. Small amounts of methane could accelerate it and make the problem much worse, much quicker. These are things that need to be understood. It's likely to make a very big difference. So it's critical, absolutely critical, for the Earth to understand as much as possible about planetary atmospheres. TMT will provide us, for the first time, the ability to study the atmospheres of planets around other stars. Only TMT is big enough to isolate the planet from its host star and be able to study its atmosphere. You're not going to understand the planetary atmospheres by studying just one or two. You need to understand a sample where the conditions are different in order to do what science does, to generalize from that, learn what's critical and what's not. I understand very well the desire to isolate oneself from the rest of the world. That's a desire I feel every day. But Hawaii cannot be isolated from the Earth's atmosphere. Hawaii cannot be isolated from the Earth's oceans. And Mauna Kea is changing. The polar ice caps are melting. The oceans will rise. We've got to understand planetary atmospheres as best we can. In order to protect the Aina, it's critical to understand this kind of science. It's fun to talk about all the gee whiz science that comes from astronomy, but there's something very, very, very practical here that will protect the Aina, that will protect the land, is to understand how atmospheres trap heat in and how they're going to change the environment of the land that all of us here love and care about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Rebecca Kakalia, followed by Mahana Kihoy.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha. O wauno o Rebecca Kakalia. Mai ka moku o ke ave ka mauna o lono nui a kea. A o hilo ane ku'one hanau. I am here on behalf of my ohana, my aina, my queen, and my keiki. Mahalo piha for your time and attention to the concerns of our nation and its people. Raised within a culture rich in its heritage with over 20 years of cultural enrichment opportunities funded by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. A proud scholar of Ke Kula Kaiapuni o Keokaha, Ke Kula Kaiapuni o Waimea, Kanu o Ka'aina New Century Public Charter School, Ke Kula Kaiapuni o Ehunui Kaimalino, Kealakehe High School and the University of Hawaii at Hilo. I am proud to say that I, as a young and thriving Kanaka Maoli, am a product of your strategic plan. I am systemic change. I am an occupant of Hawaiian affairs. Graced with strength to move mountains, I humbly move with mine. I am Wakea Papahana Moku. For me, this is not an option, decision, nor an educated opinion. This is my life's purpose. My kuleana to my kupuna, my unborn children and great-grandchildren. I am here in honor of your kupuna, your keiki, and your mo'opuna, so that we may drink of the same water 7 generations from today. Through the recollections of my ancestral memory embedded deeply within my DNA, I, along with my brothers and sisters whom have been physically atop our Mauna during these times, possess gifts beyond physical realms unexplainable to the human mind. To experience Mauna self-actualizing through me is state-of-the-art technology at its finest. The ability to withstand the amount of darkness I have during these events and in return transform them into love and light is self-seeking astronomy at its fullest potential. We as young Hawaiians are guided directly by our kupuna. We do not need doctors, scientists, astrologists, physicists, or corporate businessmen to tell us what is right. We were born in righteousness, purity, and higher consciousness. We did not choose this path. This path chose us. My question to you is, do you remember why you are here? Take yourself back to the first memory you have as a little soul. What did you come to Earth to accomplish? Why did Akua send you here? I am sure desecration was not a part of your divine plan. To the representatives entrusted with this kuleana, hear my voice, feel my mana, and listen to the whispers of your kupuna through us, for they too have traveled throughout the majesty of the Mauna. Each of you as a single driving force at the forefront of our lahui can make a difference and stand for change. I pray that the voices heard may touch your hearts and soothe your souls as we move forward into the past. We are born of the stars, therefore we are. The only way from here is within. Travel inward and onward into the great white light. There we will find all the answers provided by our very own interplanetary systems and divine cosmic consciousness. The difference between them and us is that we know our mo'oku auhau. We know who we are, where we come from, and where we are going. O kaha o ka aina ke ola o ka po'e. The life of the land is the wellness of the people. May we continue to address the wellness of our nation and its people together in one.
Mahalo, Rebecca. Mahana Kihoy, followed by Kuipo Freighus. This is Mahana Kihoy.
Yeah, I.
And then next up is Kuipo Freighus.
Okay. Lyanna Marie kako. Aloha. My name is Mahana Kihoy. I am here from Mokuakeawe, Mai Konahema. I just would like to mahalo oha for the works you do for our lahui. Ano aike aloha. Though I am honored to be here today, we shouldn't be here today. Sitting in this room right now, they have done this to us for so many generations. The division, the separation, Kanaka versus Kanaka, and it needs to end already. We're all in this together, and what more important reason than for the piko of our aina, our connection to Akea, our highest temple in all of Polynesia. About 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a contributor to science for TMT. And after speaking only for a few minutes, he still could not understand the sacredness that we hold throughout all of us. So I asked him, where are you from? I'm from Kansas, he says. And I asked him, what is your ethnic background? And he did not understand what that meant. So I said, I am Hawaiian, what are you? And he said, I am Roman Catholic. So I tell him, okay. I said, would you build an 18-story telescope in your Vatican? And he tells me, well, churches have been destroyed. And then I ask him, how would you feel to see your Pope handcuffed and chained in front of that church? And he tells me, handcuffed and chained in front of that church. And he tells me, handcuffed and chained in front of that church. and he tells me,
name is Kuipo Freighus. I'm from Kona. I'm a master's student at in the Hawaiian Language and Literature program at Kahaka'ulo Ke'elikolani at UH Hilo. As the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, I feel that supporting this movement for Mauna Kea will play a key role in your credibility as a representative for the Hawaiian people. We all know Mauna Kea has garnered so much attention around the world, Everyone is watching us right now. Our people are rising, our people are standing as one for the first time in a really long time, and it only took a month. Now, as a representative of the Hawaiian people, an advocate for Hawaiians, it is your kuleana to bring truth to your mission and your words. Like every decision-making process, there will be gains and there will be losses. By standing for the Mauna, the biggest gain of all will be the support and the trust of the Hawaiian people. That is what OHA has been striving for years. What does OHA have to lose in standing for Mauna Kea? 20% of the rent funds collected each year. The rent for the first year is $300,000, which equates to only $60,000 for OHA. It will gradually increase, and 11 years later will reach its peak rent amount of $1 million per year, which will equate to $200,000 for OHA. Now, will this truly make a significant impact on OHA's budget? The Office of Hawaiian Affairs Board of Trustee Chairman and Keiki o Ka'aina Kaulana o Waimea stated his concerns about potentially losing the funding administered by the Pauahi Foundation. $250,000 of the $1 million is administrated through the Keali'i Pauahi Foundation. It was number 79 on Keali'i Pauahi Foundation's listing of scholarships and is titled the Hawaii Island New Knowledge Fund, THINK. It is for Hawaii Island residents majoring in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM-related vocational technical fields. The applicant does not need to be Native Hawaiian to qualify for this scholarship, or any scholarship, and it's stated at the bottom of the website. A total of 14 multi-year awards will be awarded. It is unspecified how the $250,000 will go towards Keali'i Pauahi Foundation's administration for the Think Fund. However, Keali'i Pauahi Foundation is located on South King Street in Honolulu, which means that the majority of the Think Fund meant for Hawaii Island will actually benefit Oahu's economy, not Hawaii Island. On page 64, item number 368 of the BLNR Findings of Facts, Conclusions of Law and Decision and Order, Certificate of Service, it reads that the Think Fund purposes could include scholarships specific to Hawaiian culture, astronomy, math, and science. Where are the Hawaiian culture scholarships? As a Native Hawaiian, I am concerned why the chair of the Board of Trustees of OHA is concerned with potentially losing the Think Fund. OHA has a capacity to ensure all other alternatives for improving the well-being of Native Hawaiians, where we are not dependent on private corporations and international governments to provide for us at the expense of our most pristine resources. The 20% rent and the Think Fund are soft funds. What will our people do when these funds cease? Mauna Kea has provided for Hawaii for generations and will continue to do so if we protect her. Now, if you look at the bigger picture, the broader perspective of this, we have a multinational corporation trying to control the decisions of our Hawaiian representatives through bribing our educational system with $1 million for STEM students on Hawaii Island. How would this benefit the larger community? How is it logical? How is it even legal? I mean this with respect and aloha, but I feel that OHA needs to stop bowing down to the dollar and start bowing down to our Mauna, for it is our people. Not just for Hawaii, but for many places across the Pacific as well as the world. And I promise it will be the greatest move you make. And through my personal experiences, I know I'm not the same person I was 5 weeks ago. The Mauna has changed me. Its magnetic energy has really drew me from the first day. And I feel that Mauna Kea has set the kahua for change in the world, and I know from day one I had a kuleana to this Mauna. I couldn't stray away. It has empowered me as a young wahine Hawaii, a Mauna wahine no Hawaii. I've been on the Mauna for the past 36 days, kalamai. I've been sleeping in 20-degree weather, using 5 layers of clothing, 3 layers of blankets every night, documenting everything. Driving 3 o'clock in the morning to the Mauna. I am one of the 31 Aloha Aina who got arrested on the Mauna on April 2nd, 2000. 2015. For protecting our aina from any further illegal desecration, for protecting our rights as Kanaka on our own aina, and for protecting the future of our keiki. As a Kanaka, as a wahine, I have never sacrificed so much in my life before this movement. I left my job as a Hawaiian language preschool teacher to be on that Mauna. I haven't been focusing on school. I barely see my ohana. Those were my losses. When I took this kuleana from Mauna Kea. But it's a sacrifice worthwhile because I know that this movement will set our people free. And it's obvious that we're rising, it's obvious that we're activated. Our people are unified, and it only took a month. So as Office of Hawaiian Affairs, you have a kuleana to find pono for our aina, for our people, for our lahui, and for our future. A rescind is not enough. OHA needs to take a position against the TMT because the TMT is not going up. It's not. So with all due respect, I am asking you to make a move, to naue, to oni with us, to find pono for our aina, for our lahui. E kupa amau I ke aloha aina. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Next up, we have Walter Ritte, but before Walter comes up and speak, I want to remind everybody that we will be taking a short recess at 1 o'clock, and I want to make sure that we ensure that we get to that vote today. The beneficiary comments is building, so I just want to make sure, remind everyone that 1 o'clock we will take a recess, and we're going to convene after that recess. Thank you. Thank you, Walter. Next up after Walter Ritte would be Lyanna Marie Alejaro.
Aloha, trustees.
Aloha.
I guess first thing, since we talked a little bit about Kaha Olave, this reminds me a lot about what happened with Kaha Olave. And we took a position on Kaha Olave not to compromise. The first thing we learned from our kupuna is that there are things that you have to compromise, but there are things that you must never compromise. So knowing the difference between the two is the trick. So in this case, my personal position is you get all of those telescopes off of the mountain. That's just my personal position because like Kaha Olave, in the military took it and they misused it. And the same has happened on Mauna Kea. The Hawaiians were so much aloha, they allowed it to happen, and now they've misused it to the point where they need to get all of those telescopes off of Mauna Kea. It's a matter of principle that we get all of those telescopes off of Mauna Kea. So today is a really interesting day for all of you. Either we're gonna bring everybody together or we're gonna prolong this hakaka between our leaders in the Hawaiian community and the people. And I'm a firm believer that you guys are really not the leaders, it's the people who are the leaders. And the people are leading right now. That's the message that needs to get across, is that people are leading. We don't have to figure out, spend $5 million to bring the people together and to go after this one thing or that thing or anything else. All you have to do is support. That's why we're here today. We need you guys to support the young people who are on that mountain. They're the leaders. They're picked up the baton. You've heard their voices. They're just asking for your support. Your decision to support the telescope needs to be rescinded today. It absolutely has to be done today. No matter whether Mr. Lindsay is here or not, no matter what is happening, there is nothing more important than us to show the support to the new generation that is taking the lead right now. And I'm saying the new generation because I see all the old faces on this board. We did our share, you know, I mean, we know what it means to go through this. We have to support this generation. They are so far ahead of us. We old fogies already. I mean, we don't know half the things they know. They can go to testify at DOI hearings with a little thing in their hand and they can spout laws and all kinds of stuff. We had to turn around and ask the kupuna, what? We didn't even know our own language. We didn't know anything. We just relied on the kupuna. So now that we all kupuna right now, we need to pass the baton over to this next generation. And we need to do it today. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Uncle Walter. Lyanna Marie. Followed by Kamaha O Padilla. Alakumana students.
Aloha mai kako. Oleana ko uinoa noi anai mai. My name is Lyanna Marie Alihado and I am born and raised in Waianae. So I've been on this island for 16 years of my life. I'm a junior at Halakumana. I am in opposition of the desecration of our sacred temple, Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is the physical embodiment of our connection to our akua. The summit itself is titled Wau Akua, which is the realm where God's good and bad dwell. In that realm, people go to the summit for meditation, spiritual guidance, and try to gain new insight. Mauna Kea is our piko, not just of Hawaii Island, but all islands within the Polynesian Triangle. A piko connects you to your past, present, and future, not just for the Hawaiian community, but all people of indigenous and non-indigenous backgrounds alike. Think of the cultural impact that'll ripple throughout the globe if this telescope is built. If the telescope is built, it'll be a reminder that all sacred lands are not taken into consideration and money is the main goal. Aside from this, you'll be ripping out our people's identity. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs is a public agency who are, and I quote, responsible for improving the well-being of Native Hawaiians. You were founded on righting the 100-year wrongs that somehow are still prevailing in current day. Land issues, money issues. Yet you sit there struggling to decide whose court you'll play for, who you will support. The 30-meter telescope is yet another form of abuse and disregard towards Papahana Moku, land. The overwhelming desire for money and power, and the constant interference by foreign superiors. Your Native Hawaiian Historic Preservation Council is founded on ensuring cultural identity, preserving Native Hawaiian cultural resources, and pushing for the Hawaiian community to be active in their culture and traditions. We are active right now. As you can see, my following classmates and school members are standing to show you that the youth are making a statement. And it's not just Halakumana. There are many other schools who are in support of what we are doing. My friend right behind me, Kamaha O in the black, who is sharing after me, her and her friend, Hina, created a petition, OHA TMT, and that was run to show that the youth are making a statement, and we know what's going on. If you are really concerned about the management, you can see that they had 40 years to prove to you that they could manage Mauna Kea well. And what have they shown you? 9 mercury spills, endangered bugs and plants, and desecration of land. Once they take off those telescopes, are they gonna rebuild the land? No. There are 332 signatures currently on top of the petition that they started on Monday. I just hope that you can see that what we are saying should make an impact in you. If you really deserve to be on this board, this should make an impact in you. If you are Hawaiian, it should make an impact. And this is not just for Mauna Kea, this is for all sacred lands. If you decide to choose and support this telescope being built, you're allowing other things to happen, like the telescopes on Haleakala being built, or the land being taken away in Kapolei. We know there are other issues out there, and this is gonna be the forefront. What you decide to do is gonna make a very big impact, and I hope you make the right decision. And if you don't, we'll be back. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Kamaha O Ka'ai, followed by Milani Hayes.
Aloha e ka papa ala ka i o oha o Kamaha O Ka'ai. O Hawaii ku o ne ha'ana o. I, Kamaha O Ka'ai, oppose the 30-meter telescope atop our Mauna Kapu, Mauna Kea. Haya pula pula of this aina is rising, and I understand the issue at hand. We all do, which is the reason we're here today. We're taking drastic measures to stand strong in our belief that what is happening to our aina is hewa. Hewa. I, along with many of the youth of Hawaii, believe that the planned construction of the TMT at Mauna Kea will threaten the future of our lahui, our kanaka, and our aina, especially our mauna, especially our mauna. The TMT would be 18 stories tall and 20 feet underground. The completed structure's footprint would be over 5 acres of our sacred temple. If built, the TMT will not only desecrate our most sacred mountain, but will also have a catastrophic effect on our entire future and lahui. There are many legal issues tied in with the construction of the TMT as well. In 1968, the Department of Land and Natural Resources, DLNR, leased land on Mauna Kea to the University of Hawaii to build a telescope. The 65-year lease states that UH is allowed to build an observatory. N is singular. A singular observatory, not 13. Permits are not obtained before building each of the 3 telescopes. The law clearly states that there are certain criteria that need to be followed in order to start construction on conservation land in Hawaii. Some of the criteria for building or development may not cause substantial adverse impact to existing natural resources within the surrounding area or region, or the existing physical and environmental aspects of the land, such as natural beauty and open space characteristics, will be preserved or improved upon. Adverse impacts have already been found on Mauna Kea. There are many reasons as to why the construction of the TMT should not be allowed to carry out. And as the great George Helm would say, call me a radical, for I refuse to remain idle and allow the foreigner to prostitute the soul of my being, my culture. Call me what you may, but I will no longer stand aside while the construction of the TMT continue to desecrate our Mauna Kapu, Mauna Kea. As the pula pula of this aina, we deserve human rights and the ability to decide for ourselves our destiny. So I leave this with you. Ikaw papa alaka i o oha. When will it be enough? When is lava enough for you folks? When will it stop? E olu olu, please reconsider. No ka pono na keigi, no ka pono ka aina, no ka pono ka lahui ke kahi. I Kamaha O Ka'ai strongly oppose a 30-meter telescope being built atop our Mauna Kapu. Kapu aloha, aloha aina. Kupa au maui ke aloha aina. Mahalo.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that I'm so very proud of our Hawaiian youngsters and glad to see that our education money is going to good use. Proud of you.
Next up, we have Milani Hayes, followed by Kamali McShane Padilla.
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
I, Milani Hayes, a haumana of Halau Kumana, stand in strong opposition to the construction of the 30-meter telescope and the further desecration of our mauna. I understand that the decisions that you have to make on a daily basis are complex and difficult. You are charged to make decisions based on your mission statement, which says, OHA is focused on strategic priorities for improving the conditions of Native Hawaiians in areas of aina, culture, economic self-sufficiency, education, governance, and health. With that in mind, I call your attention to the fact that Mauna Kea belongs to
and is included in the Hawaiian Kingdom Crown lands. Kamehameha III originally set these lands aside for royal use. They have become a part of the inheritance of the Hawaiian people. The United States government then seized these lands. The same government that imprisoned our queen, Liliuokalani, and illegally occupied our aina in 1893. Until we address the illegal occupation done by the United States, I will be against any development done on and to our aina. In 1968, the University of Hawaii received a lease from the Department of Land and Natural Resources to build an observatory on Mauna Kea. Like Kamaha'u said earlier, an observatory that is singular. During 1970 to 1974, they built 6 more telescopes, and they did not have a permit to build those telescopes. Not only have they violated Hawaiian Kingdom laws, they have violated their own conservation laws, because the law clearly states that there are certain criteria that they need to follow in order to build. There are currently 13 telescopes on Mauna Kea, which are subleased to many countries and corporations around the world. But these telescopes are in violation of the original lease. If they have been illegally building telescopes since the 1970s, why is it okay to build another telescope that will break even more laws? The further desecration of our aina needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. This generation of youth is more connected and more aware than ever. This is a time of restoration and renewal. Some have called this the second Hawaiian Renaissance. We're very much aware of all the hewa that is taking place across the Pai'aina, and we will stand united to protect what is sacred to us until all is pono. A couple of examples of what we're doing to stand up to protect what is sacred to us is the student-led statements. For example, this declaration behind me was composed by many indigenous youth that are from all over the world. This declaration right here affirms our identities as indigenous peoples who proudly stand on the foundation laid to us by our elders and ancestors. Another example of a student-led statement is a petition that is led by 3 haumana from Halau Kumana, Kamaha O Ka'ai, Hina Ka'opua, and myself. Creating this petition gives the youth an opportunity to voice their opinions and and the opinions of those who cannot speak for themselves. It is my right as a pula of this aina to thrive in my culture, values, and languages, or in my language. I call on you to reflect upon your mission statement, upon your consciences, and upon your dreams for your keiki's future. It is your kuleana to protect our inheritance. If you continue to allow the mana to be desecrated until it is nothing, how can I thrive as a Kanaka? How will my keiki thrive as a Kanaka? What about your keiki and the future generations that are soon to come? How will they thrive as Kanaka if they lose their piko? Mauna Kea is not just a mountain. It is our connection to our past, our future, and our present. It is our connection to Akua, to our kupuna, our ohana, to future generations. Without this connection, we are nothing. I urge you to make the pono decision based on your responsibility as OHA trustees. What do you want to be remembered as? Desecrators of our mauna or protectors of our mauna? If it is already not clear to you, I, Williamson, strongly opposes the construction of the 30-meter telescope and the further desecration of our mauna. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Williamson. Mahalo. Kamali, McShane, Padilla, followed by Kahua Park. And I just wanted to make note of the time. Right now it's 12:40.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha e ka papa alakai o OHA. My name is Kamali McShane Padilla. I am also a junior at Halau Kumana. I am in opposition of the 30-meter telescope project. I understand that being the advocates of Native Hawaiians may be a very difficult job to handle. Having to consider different opinions, taking them into consideration, and make decisions for the betterment of Hawaii. However, you guys have not been doing what you've ensured with the people of Hawaii, which clearly states, OHA is focused on strategic priorities for improving the conditions of Native Hawaiians in the areas of Aina culture, economic self-sufficiency, education, governance, and health. If you guys are focused on improving conditions of Native Hawaiians in the areas of Aina and culture, then why support something that desecrates both? As our voice, you guys have a huge say as to whether or not we all support or oppose the TMT project to other political parties. By supporting the TMT project, you are allowing the endangerment of native bugs and plants the endangerments of native bugs and plants by the amount of pollutions that the telescopes cause and further desecration of our sacred Mauna. First of all, the ongoing problem with Mauna Kea is the construction of roads, parking lots, facilities, and the telescopes that are affecting the natural resources and native habitat. The endangered VQ bug and other Mauna Kea native species can be crushed by foot or by vehicles. The summit and upper slopes, where the VQ and native species live, once pristine, now bear the scars of illegal off-road grading of the Mauna and recreational vehicle use. The VQ is a candidate for listing the critical habitat designation under the Endangered Species Act. Secondly, collective wastewater, chemicals, and any debris coming from the construction is a threat to the summit's ecosystem and aquifer. On TMT.org, it states TMT is designed to be a zero waste discharge facility with all waste securely transported off the summit. According to my recent findings, there have already been many mercury spills. These are not things to be taken lightly, stated Mary Mahamo, an environmental activist. Even the workers themselves are exposed to serious toxic chemicals that cause Mad Hatter's disease and attack your nervous system. Lastly, placing another telescope that is 30 meters wide, 20 stories high, and 2 stories below is a desecration of our sacred Mauna. Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain in the world below sea level, which allows people of Hawaii to make that connection with Akua. Placing the telescope on the Mauna disconnects us from our piko, kupuna, and Akua. As a keiki of this Aina, it is important that we educate ourselves on what issues are going on in the community, which is why we are here today. Our Aina and people of Hawaii were waiting for a moment in time for something like this to happen. What a lot of people don't understand is that everything is changing all so fast. Too many outsiders feel the need to help us out, but they need to fully educate themselves to see where the Hawaiian people are coming from. Iala mai kako, wake up, Kanaka. It is time to fight for what we believe is pono. No more standing on the side and having an attitude saying, the other person get them. We need to take charge and be the one to make a difference. We are writing history at this very moment. Years from now, my future keiki will ask me about the 30-meter telescope on Mauna Kea, and I want to say I did all I could to stop it from happening. Now is the time to rise up for your kupuna, la hui, future keiki to come, and Hawaii. The first step in solving a problem is recognizing there is one. And Kanaka, we do. We definitely have one. Again, I, Kamali, McShane, Padilla, oppose the construction of the 30-meter telescope. Mahalo. I could stop it from happening. Now is the time to rise up for your kupuna, la hui, future keiki to come, and Hawaii. The first step in solving a problem is recognizing there is one. And Kanaka, we do. We definitely have one. Again, I, Kamali, McShane, Padilla, oppose the construction of the 30-meter telescope.
Mahalo, mahalo kumana. Great job. Next up is Kahua Park, followed by Harry Kalua.
Esteemed gentlemen, esteemed ladies and gentlemen of the board, Chief Executive Mr. Crabb, it seems that my whole life has been in preparation for this moment. My name is Kahua. I was born and raised in Kailua Kona and educated at Kona Waina, Kamehameha, the University of Hawaii, and the United States Merchant Marine Academy. I am part of a handful of Hawaiians who followed professionally in the path of our voyaging ancestors. I was one of the first from Kona to be appointed by Senator Hiram Fong to the Federal Academy. The Maritime School is located in New York State, where I graduated as a mate. By shipping out on American vessels carrying cargo all over the world, I earned my present license as master of any gross tons upon oceans. In my early years at sea, we used a compass and sextant to determine elevation of stars to navigate. Each navigational star became a special friend to help us on our way. I grew up in Kailua Kona, in the Hawaiian traditions of my family patriarchs. Peter Ka'ava of O'oma, Robert Polakiko Kamaka of Kalawa, Abraham Ma'a of Kailua Kona, and my father, Peter Kekuana Park, who was one of the last native speakers from O'oma. My own step-grandfather, Joseph Kahananui, was well known in Kona for dealing with old Hawaiian burials. None of my family, however, ever mentioned or taught me about the sanctity of the mountains. I stand here before you as a Hawaii Islander who from childhood hunted and hiked, often alone, in the shifting fog as well as the blowing snow of the mountains. Because of my experiences in the backcountry of that island, I can say that I have had my share of first-hand knowledge and intimacy with the land. Before I go any further, I would like to take a quick poll. Can I have a show of hands, please, of those who recognize the acronym APOD? I'm not surprised that not many people know about it. APOD is simply the astronomy picture of the day, with a new one for every day of the year. It portrays some part or some aspect of the incredible universe we live in. You can simply paste the pictures as a background on your computer device. If you access those pictures daily, you would be learning about our universe without even trying. You don't even need a telescope. This is an example on my laptop of a gorgeous island universe for April 28th, taken from the Hubble Space Telescope and Mauna Kea Subaru, which is available free to anyone with a computer. I have been inspired to speak because of what I consider to be a misinformation campaign that has been presented to the media to defeat TMT. News reports are filled with glorious images and words of the sacred mountain, which must not be desecrated and even left untouched by the hand of man. To say that the mountain must not be desecrated sounds a little hypocritical and selfish. Are we not desecrating the island with our houses and roads, which we don't seem to want to give up?
Aliyah, let him speak.
Have you ever wondered, are there other life forms out there in our vast universe? How can we possibly be the only life when there are billions upon billions of other stars like our sun out there? TMT will help try to answer that question. We need to keep in mind that TMT is not only about Hawaiian issues. There are many others in the majority that want good jobs too. We live in a democratic, multicultural state. There is the possibility of backlash from other nationalities that may feel some reverse discrimination. We can wear our native pride in the power of our minds to adapt, as our voyaging ancestors did, to find new worlds. We can take the good of our culture and throw away the shackles of the past. We can become again the shining beacon of natives, proud of their knowledge of the stars, and become truly rightful citizens of this land. If you vote no today, what message does it send to our children? Is it that we have given up on the search for knowledge? If you vote no today, could you even live with yourself if you had to say to the children of the future, the sky god said, sorry, my mountain cannot be shared with science. We stand on the sand of the shore, gazing out into the vast and unknown ocean of Isaac Newton. We are filled with wonder as we look out upon it. We know we have only dipped our toes into that ocean. Thank you.
Mahalo, Mr. Park. Next up, we have Harry Kalua, and I think we might have time for Tiari Lawrence after that, before the 1 o'clock. Give it a shot first. I think at Tiari before the recess. And just a reminder, 21 people have spoken. We still have 41 more signed up. So at 1 o'clock, I'm going to take a recess to reassess what's going on, just so we can get a vote happen today. So hang in there.
Hold on. My name is Harry Kekoliki Kalua. I came here the first time, and I heard you say everything. I'd just like to thank everybody here today. I know some of you are my family. Maybe you don't know are your family, but I think we are. And all I have to say is I support the 30-meter telescope, but I want to leave it in the hands of those of you here. Everybody say their testimony for and against, and I just want to leave it up to the trustees to make their decision, and then whatever decision you make, it will be pono. That's all I have to say. Born and raised in Keokaha in Hilo, Hawaii. We just celebrated our 90-year anniversary. I'm 4th generation. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, my dad, myself, my children, and my grandchildren. So we're in 7 generations. So I heard 7 generations, and I'm proud of that, and I just leave it at that. Thank you.
Mahalo, Uncle Harry. Tiari Lawrence.
Aloha, I am Tiari Lawrence from Lahaina, Maui. I would first like to mahalo my friends who are watching via live stream. Through their generosity, I am able to speak here today. Your donation of Hawaiian miles has afforded me the chance to share my feelings on this matter. I would like to ask that you, OHA, consider holding additional meetings on the outer islands, or allow us to testify via video conferencing. There are many people on Maui as well as the outer islands that are unable to be here. For these people, the inability to voice their mana'o leaves them feeling alienated and full of disdain. And I'm so happy to be here. With that being said, I stand before you today to express my views in opposition to your support of the 30-meter telescope. Like most of us here today, my passion originates from ancestral and cultural ties to Mauna Kea. I have developed a connection to our Mauna through hula and oli. As Papa and Wakea has given birth to Hawaii, Hawaii has given birth to us. And as this land has given us life, it is crucial to the survival of our people that we care for this land as if it is our own lives that we are caring for. As a mother of 2 keiki, it is a natural instinct to protect my keiki 100% in any capacity. My passion comes from being Kanaka Maoli, and it is my kuleana to honor my culture, my kupuna, and Hawaii. As a Hawaiian and as a mother, I feel a deep knot in the pit of my being at what is at stake if the TMT is not stopped. How can I protect my children and their future? How can we protect our aina if pieces of our heritage and culture are constantly being stripped away by government that has never had respect for our people and this place. We will not continue to stand idle and let science and money influence the future of Hawaii. Thanks to social media, this issue goes well beyond the interests of the Hawaiian people. This is not only a Hawaiian interest. This is also an interest to mankind, one that the whole world is watching, for all things sacred to us, past, present, and future. I'm sure a lot of people would agree that the 30-meter telescope, the giant Magellan, and the European extremely large telescope being built are countries, universities, and astronomers racing each other to get to the discovery first. It is clear to say that these astronomers and countries are in a race to discovery to see 13 billion light years away. Perhaps the race is on to win a Nobel Prize. Or could the rush be that there's a new wave of opposition and the construction companies are pushing the construction to make money, even though there is an appeal held up in court? 40 years ago, the state agreed to share Mauna Haleakala and Mauna Kea, our most sacred summits with UH and a few astronomers. The deal the state made with UH was that they promised the protection and stewardship of our sacred sites, native species, and alpine habitat. Since then, there has been so much desecration to Mauna Haleakala that astronomers call our Mauna Science City. I wake up every morning, and that's what I see, and it hurts me. Mauna Haleakala and Mauna Kea are targets to US Air Force, corporation interest, industrial development, wealthy nations, and institutions. That promise to protect our Mauna 40 years ago have still remained unfulfilled. The footprint continues to grow every decade, and while doing so, our natural and cultural resources have been desecrated. The late Kahu Charles Ka'uluwehi Maxwell Sr. was very involved and concerned about the desecration that was taking place on Mauna Haleakala, and he said, there's a cumulative effect. The more you put up there, the more it washes out the sacred nature of this place. And this, I truly believe. UH and the state of Hawaii has mismanaged our ceded lands for decades. There are clear laws in the state of Hawaii that exist to protect conservation land, and there are also very specific criteria if exceptions are to be made on conservation land. And clearly, those laws have been abused, disregarded for these permits to be issued. In this state, we have seen time and time again laws that were put in place, bent, broken, and disregarded for decades, that it became the normal and business as usual. I can't help but smell supremacy and corruption from the state of Hawaii. Clearly, an example to why our lahui have deep concerns about our sacred Mauna and all sacred sites of Hawaii. For years, corporation interest has dominated over the voice and the will of our people. Well, not anymore. This time, we say, no more. I would like to read a paragraph that Professor Chang wrote in a letter to UH Board of Regents. The Mauna Kea movement is a movement that has grown because of young people. They live in a new confusing world themselves, a world of cognitive dissonance. That is, they live within an outright contraction, a Hawaii in decline where there is nothing they can do. They see their world being attacked and destroyed, its water taken, its plants doused with foreign chemicals, its agricultural lands disappear in the name of gentlemen farmers, its open lands used for artillery practice, and its shoreline becoming high-end condominiums that only rich foreigners can afford. And this is why this movement is vital to our existence as Kanaka Maoli. Is it not your focus to improve on the conditions of Native Hawaiians in the areas of Aina, culture, economic self-sufficiency, education, governance, and health? How does the TMT fit into any one of the aforementioned strategic criteria that OHA is entrusted to uphold? If jobs are the concern, then decommissioning the telescopes will create those jobs. Your support to protect Mauna Kea will put OHA in alignment with its strategic plan. In order for the people's confidence to be restored in OHA, we need to see that the powers actually do listen to the people. We need to see due process. Together with your support, we can set a global example as to what Aloha Aina means. And the Hawaiian community is ready to take a step in the right direction. The unification of our people is apparent through the outpouring support for our Aina. And You can help our community if you take a step toward the right direction and withdraw your support for TMT. With that being said, I ask you, the OHA trustees, to stand with us, to stand for Aloha Aina, to stand for our keiki, to stand against the desecration of not only Mauna Kea, but also Mauna Haleakala and all sacred sites of Hawaii. To take a stand for everything Hawaii needs to ensure our keiki will have open space and something that will connect them to their culture and their kupuna. To stand against corporation interests and greed that have taken over our islands. To stand against UH and DLNR and hold them accountable for their mismanagement of our crown lands. And if and when that time may come, I know myself, along with hundreds of Kanaka, will be ready, locking arms on that Mauna to protect Mauna Kea. Mahalo.
I'd like to say mahalo to all those who came up here and supported on both sides. It's 1 o'clock, or it's a little past 1 o'clock, and for all you viewers out there too, we want to make sure that we come to a decision today. So I'm going to be asking for a recess, give us a break, and I would like to consult with my team to make sure that this 10 minutes. Is that okay?
How about 15, 20?
15 minutes, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Recess 15 minutes.